بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أما بعد. To continue in the study of مختصر التبيان في آداب حملة القرآن, we reach where Imam An-Nawawi rahimahullah, he says that the teacher from his manners is that he should pay concern to his outer appearance. In this statement of the author that the teacher should pay concern to his outer appearance, in this is an encouragement from the author that the teacher, similarly the student, should keep himself clean. He should be a person who pays concern to cleanliness, either by performing ghusl, if he has to, or using fragrances so he does not have a bad smell, or he takes away impurities or dirt and bad smells that may be on his body. And this encouragement, that the same way you're encouraged to purify and clean your inner state, your heart, then similarly it's also an encouragement that a teacher and a student purifies and cleans his outer state. From the beauty of our religion of Islam, it does not only pay concern to your inner state, where you purify your heart and keep your heart clean, but you also purify your body and keep your outer appearance looking clean. And this is from the beauty of our religion. Until the Prophet ﷺ even taught us how to clean ourselves. As comes the Hadith Salman, they said to him, your Prophet taught you how to clean yourself? He said, Ajal. He said, yes, he taught us even how to clean ourselves. Alayhi salatu wasalam. So for example, the inner self, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, the one who has in his heart an ant's weight of arrogance will not enter paradise. So they said, Ya Rasulullah, a man likes to wear beautiful clothes and have good shoes. So the Prophet ﷺ replied to him, Inna Allaha jameel wa yuhibbul jamal. Allah is beautiful and He loves beauty. Al-kibr batrul haq wa ghamtin nas. Arrogance that the Prophet was talking about is looking down on the people and rejecting the truth. Looking down on the people and rejecting the truth. And this is from a sickness of the heart. And for that reason, a person tries to purify his inner self, because Allah does not like a person who has arrogance or who is envious or one who rejects the truth and other than that. As for the outer state, and this is just one example, as for the outer state, then the Prophet ﷺ, he said, At-tuhur shatrul iman. At-tuhur shatrul iman. That purification is half of iman. Half of iman. And the Prophet ﷺ, he told us, Al-fitratu khams. The natural disposition is 5. He mentioned cleaning or circumcision, shaving the pubic region, clipping the nails, cutting the mustache short, and shaving the armpits. And shaving the armpits. This is from cleanliness. Outer cleanliness, that a person takes care of himself in this kind of affair. So it shows that Islam not only tells us to purify our inner selves, but also to purify our outer state. So thus our deen, from the beauty of it is that it pays concern to both of them. Then he says, such as removing dirt and impurities, and hairs that which has come in the legislation to remove, such as trimming the mustache, cutting the nails, taking care of the beard, taking away bad smells, and not wearing disliked clothing. Now we'll take each one by one. As for trimming the mustache, it is from the affairs which are from the fitrah, from the natural disposition. As comes the hadith of the Prophet, al-fitrah to khams. Al-fitrah, the natural disposition is 5. From them, qassu sharib. Trimming the mustache. The Prophet, he said in the hadith, trim closely the mustache and grow the beard. And thus act against the fire worship. Khaliful mushrikeen. Oppose the mushrikeen in this, by leaving your beard, letting it grow, and trimming the mustache. Now, majority of the scholars understands that trimming the mustache is recommended. And others, such as Imam Muqbil, and other than them, they say it's obligatory to trim the mustache. Because the Prophet said, oppose the fire worshippers. Another narration that comes by way of a wording of command. So it's a must, according to that stance, that it's obligatory to trim the mustache. And what does that mean? That which goes under the lip, the upper lip, must be cut. You cannot let the hair go under the upper lip. And this is cleanliness. Someone who looks at a person with a big mustache, it looks ugly. Doesn't look good. Don't be fooled by what the communists and them are known for it looks ugly in a man. That he lets his mustache become big, and every time he eats food, it's full of it, And other than that, it looks ugly, it's repulsive. Then he says, as for cutting the nails, then it is done without being excessive. Trimming the nails. Trimming the nails is done without being excessive. Meaning some people, when they cut or trim the nails, they go too low. They start taking part of the part which is not, the part that which is on the skin. What it means by cutting the nails or trimming the nails is that part that exceeds the skin. That part that exceeds the skin is what you're trying to take off. You're not supposed to go too deep or you're harming yourself. Some people, they cut their nails and next thing you know, their nails are bleeding. That's excessive. That's excessive. So a person doesn't do so by harming himself. And that what you find nowadays, or afwan, this is also from the fitrah, as comes the hadith of Abu Hurairah that we mentioned already. As for growing it, the nails, then in it is imitation of the kuffar and animals. The kuffar and the animals, they grow their nails, not the Muslim. The Muslim, he trims his nails. You find some people, they grow their pinky nail. And the pinky nail is long. Some of them, they do it with their index finger. Some of them, they do it with other fingers. This is all not allowed in Islam. Why? The Prophet ﷺ, he said, they was said to him, Ya Rasulullah, we have no knife. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, if the killing tool causes blood to gush out, and if Allah's name is mentioned, then eat of that which is slaughtered. But do not slaughter with a nail. Do not slaughter with a nail or a tooth. For the nail is the knife of the Ethiopians. For the nail is a knife of the Ethiopians. For that reason, you find that they should grow their nails and use it as a knife. Showing us it's not from the way of the Muslims to grow their nails. This was their way and they used to use it as knives. But the Muslims, it's not allowed for them to grow their nails. Rather, what is upon him as natural disposition is that he cuts his nails and does not let it grow. The one who grows his nails, then you'll find that he has dirt under the nails and it's not in a state of complete purity. And the shaitan, he fools people. The shaitan, he fools people. Some of them, they grow their nail for the weirdest of reasons. And this is from shaitan, the beautification of shaitan for them. As for the mustache and cutting the nails, then how often should it be done? Minimum? Every how many nights? 40. Every 40 nights you must take from your mustache or your nail. That doesn't mean if for example, some people, they drink a lot of milk. It's well known you drink more milk, your hair grows fast and your nails grow faster. Isn't that as such? If you have a kid and you see the kid, he drinks a lot of milk, you see his nails grow fast. A person who has a lot of calcium or drinks a lot of milk in that case, and his nails grow long, he doesn't wait till 40 days. You shouldn't wait till 40 days. But the one should not exceed 40 days. But someone whose hair grows faster or his nails grow faster, shouldn't exceed 40 days. He shouldn't wait till 40 nights. For that reason, the Prophet ﷺ, he says in the hadith Anas, وَقِتَ لَنَا فِي قَصِّ الشَّارِبِ, that the Prophet ﷺ gave us a time period in trimming the mustache, وَتَقْلِيمِ الْأَذْفَارِ وَنَطْفُ الْإِبِطِ وَحَلْقُ الْعَانَةِ, that he gave us a time period of trimming the mustache and also taking from the nails and shaving the armpits and also shaving the pubic hair, that we should not leave it more than 40 nights. We should not leave it more than 40 nights. Imam Ibn Baz, rahimahullah, he said this hadith clarifies to us that it is befitting for the Muslim أن يلاحظ هذه الأمور, that he pays concern to these affairs. He pays concern to and that he pays attention to it. وهكذا المرأة, similarly the woman, she is also falls under these rulings. She is the same in this ruling. Men and women are the same in this ruling. Women should not grow their nails, let alone putting on fake nails. Someone you find from there, they think it's beautification to grow their nails. No, it's not. Men and women should both take from the nails, should not leave it more than 40 nights. Beautification, not that which Allah has mentioned, I called to. Not that which shaitani fools you in. Also, it comes another narration that the Prophet clarified, that the one who did this was the Prophet was the one who instructed them with this. This shows us that trimming the mustache, taking from the nails, shaving the armpits, and shaving the private parts, you should not leave it more than 40 nights. Some of the kuffar, from them, some of the athletes, I remember reading an article as to why they don't shave their armpits. They say because if they shave their armpits, it's going to burn when they play their sports. Look how shaitan fools these people. You find that they leave their armpit hair for excessive amount of hair. And their excuse is why? Because of sports. A Muslim, whether you're playing sports or not playing sports, don't let the shaitan fool you. Whereupon me and you is to obey Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. ما كان لمؤمن ولا مؤمنة إذا قضى الله رسول أمرا يكون لهم الخيرة. It's not upon a Muslim. It's upon a Muslim. If Allah and His Messenger ruled something, you have no choice in the matter. If the Prophet said, trim your mustache, you trim your mustache. If he said, shave your armpits, and you're kafir that is not shaving it, you don't follow him in that. You follow what the Prophet said. So it's upon us as Muslims to follow the religion of Islam. And this is one of the beauties of Islam, that it pays concern to purification. It pays concern to purification. As for taking care of the beard, then what is considered the beard? Shaykh bin Baz says the beard is that which grows on the cheeks and the chin. That which grows on the cheeks and the chin. So it's obligatory to leave the hair that grows on the cheeks and the chin, and not to shave it or trim it. Not to shave it or trim it. Shaykh Al-Uthaymeen adds further, to make it more clear, that it is the hair of the face, the jawbone, and the cheeks. The hair of the face, the jawbone, and the cheeks. So he says in that sense, that everything that grows on the cheeks, jawbone, and chin is part of the beard. Everything that grows on your cheeks, on your jawbone, and on your chin is considered to be a lihya. Is considered to be a beard. And the one who takes that, or leaves it, or takes from it, or trims it, is sinful. Now it comes to Imam Malik, that when he would want to narrate a hadith, he would make wudu, that he would make for the prayer. So he'd make complete wudu. Then he would wear his best clothing, and he would wear a cap, and he would comb his beard. And I would have said to him regarding that, why you do so? He said, to honor the narration of the Prophet ﷺ. He would make wudu, he would make himself purify and clean. And he'd come to the sitting, in a sitting of with cleanliness, to exonerate and honor the narration of the Prophet ﷺ. Similarly, in salah is as such as well. Allah says, Ya bani Adam, khudu zinatakum inda kulli masjid. O children of Adam, take your beautification in the time for salah. In every masjid, in the time for salah. Many of us, you find that we fall short in this. That we beautify ourselves for weddings. We beautify ourselves for other things. But when it comes to the masjid and standing in front of Allah and reading the narration of the Prophet ﷺ, we may be even in our sleep clothes, our sleep clothing. And this is something which shows deficiency of honoring and exonerating that which وَمَنْ يُعَذِّمْ شَائِرَ اللَّهِ فَإِنَّهَا مِنْ تَقْوَى الْقُلُوبِ. Whoever honors the rituals and the symbols of Allah, then that shows piety in the heart. The beard is a must for the teacher to keep it. Don't be fooled by the YouTube stars who start trimming their beard and playing around with their beard. Those people, in reality, did not follow what Allah and His Messenger ﷺ have instructed them with. And they say, but Shaykh so-and-so said, I can trim my beard. Ya akhi, the Prophet ﷺ said, "U'fu liha," leave your beard. وَخَالِفُ الْمُشْرِكِينَ, and oppose the mushrikeen. But you know, this madhab says, la. If the Prophet ﷺ said something, and it's a command, then follow that which the Prophet ﷺ said. So for a Muslim, for a teacher and a student, it's a must upon them to leave their beard and not trim it or shave it. To not trim it or shave it. Now because the hadith of Jabir, that the Prophet ﷺ had a lot of beard hair. A lot of beard hair. His beard was wide, it was big. For that reason, the Sahaba, when they want to know what he was reciting in Salat al-Dhuhr and Asr, they would look where? They would look at his beard, alayhi salatu wasalam. And from the movement of his beard, they would identify what surah he was reciting. Showing us his beard, alayhi salatu wasalam, was big. The Prophet's beard was big. As for shaving it, then it is from the imitation of the woman. The women, the ones that have no beard. And the Prophet cursed the man who imitates women. The Prophet cursed the man who imitates women. It is also, they say, it's from the beautification and the honor of a man to leave his beard. It is a form of beautification, honor for a man to leave his beard. Some people think this is a hadith, or some of them said that Allah has beautified the men with the beard. Some people say that's a hadith, but it's not. Shaykh Muqbil says that it's not a narration, but just a statement of some, that Allah beautified the man with the beard. And some of the scholars, Ibn al-Qayyim, they mention that the beard shows that the man is in charge. Like in a household with a wife, the wife, she doesn't have a beard. The man has a beard. This extra beard that he has shows that the man is the one in charge. He is al-Qawwam. He is the one who's going to take care of the household. And other than that, they mention many great benefits for why a man with the beard, his skin is preserved and is a beautification from other than that. Now the Prophet ﷺ, he said in the hadith of Ibn Umar, he said that oppose what the pagans do. Keep the beards and cut the mustaches short. Keep the beards and cut the mustaches short. This is clear evidence that when you see something where the Prophet khalif al-mushrikeen, that which you're opposing them in is obligatory. That which you're opposing them in is obligatory. So growing the beard is obligatory. And as well known, as Imam Al-Albani used to say, Sahib al-haq yakfihi dalil wahid. The person of truth, one's evidence is enough for him. You don't need a million evidence like, or 100,000 evidence like Razi. Al-Razi, they say one day he was walking, and some ajuz, some old lady seen Al-Razi walking, and there was a bunch of men behind him. They said to him, who is this man? This ajuz, this old woman said, who is this man? He said, you don't know this man Al-Razi? He has 1,000 evidences for the existence of Allah. She said, if it wasn't that he has 1,000 doubts, he wouldn't need 1,000 evidences. A Muslim who is trying to reach the truth, one evidence is sufficient for him. Allah and His Messenger said this, that's it, is sufficient for him. Obviously with understanding of the scholars, the Salaf. Obviously with understanding of the Salaf. But the Salaf, they understood to leave the beard. The Sahaba, they had big beards. The Sahaba, they had big beards. The Salaf, they had big beards. As for the narration which is found in Sunnah Tirmidhi, that the Prophet used to take from the length and width of his beard. That the Prophet used to take from the length and the width of his beard, then it is not authentic from the Prophet ﷺ. It's weak. Even those who say that you can trim your beard to a certain extent, even they say we cannot use this hadith as evidence because it is weak. Even they are in agreement that they cannot use hadith as evidence because it's weak. Because it's narrated in it by name Umar ibn Harun al-Balkhi. And he is matruk. As we learned in the science of hadith, al-matruk is one of the greatest, or the most severe forms of a narration, of a narrator's narration being rejected. Al-matruk. He's left off. His narration is not accepted. Also, from the evidence that this narration is weak, is that it opposes the narration of Bukhari and Muslim which command one to leave the beard. So if you see that the narration comes from the Prophet said, shave your beard or trim your beard, other than this, you know it because of Bukhari and Muslim that, leave your beard. So because in opposition to that which is more authentic, then we say that this is mahfuz, this is preserved, and that one is left off. And that one is left off. As we learn in the science of hadith. Now, some people, they bring a doubt. They say, what about in our time? The pagans and other than them, they grow their beard. It's a style now. They grow their beard and they have once, the month I think is November, they grow their beards. And then they show you how to shape it up and make it all look nice and all of that. Someone comes and says, well, they're growing their beard now. And the Prophet says, Khaliful Mushrikeen. So now if they're growing their beard, do we shave our beards? No. Shaykh al-Uthaymin says the answer to that is that they are the ones that have agreed with us in this. They've come into agreement with us in this leaving their beard. They are imitating us now. They are imitating us now. He said, even if they were to shave, our beards remain. So let's say November ends and they start shaving their beards, our beards remain. We don't shave after November. And then he says, and if they were to leave their beards and we shave, then we are following them. So let's say we switch the opposite. We started shaving, they're leaving their beard. Now we're imitating them. Because their origin is that they take from their beard. The origin takes. So if they end up leaving it here and there, that doesn't affect us. Our beard remains the way it is. They're imitating us now. And we don't shave our beard. Now Shaykh al-Uthaymin also mentioned a nice benefit. That the beard is not from the customary affairs. Not al-'adah. The beard is not min al-'adat. It's not from the customary affairs. Rather, it is from the affairs of worship, ibadah. Because worship is everything that Allah and His Messenger have commanded with. Is there a command? A'fu liha. Leave your beards. Don't touch your beards. وَقَسُّ الشَّارِبْ. And trim your mustache. And this is what Allah and His Messenger have commanded with. Something else is that which Allah has created in you. This is a benefit. It's extremely great benefit. Some of them, they say, sometimes you read a benefit that it's hard to come across. And this is one of those benefits, extremely hard to come across a benefit like this. They say it's a benefit worth traveling for example. He says something else is that Allah has created this beard in you. A man, Allah has created this beard in you. And you are not allowed to change it. Why? Because the kingdom belongs to whom? Allah. He says the kingdom belongs to Allah. And Allah has created this hair in its form and place, its form and its place for you. You cannot go to someone else's farm and start harvesting in it, because it's His property. Similarly, this is the property of Allah and Allah has grown this hair in you. You cannot change it except with permission from Allah. You cannot change this except with permission from Allah. So Allah had said this beard, grew this beard out of man. A man cannot take from his hair or change it except with the permission of the one who created it. We have permission for what? Shaving the armpit hair. Shaving the pubic hair. This is something which Allah permits us and the Prophet told us to do so. But with the beard, we don't have permission from Allah and His Messenger to take from it. So if we don't have permission from Allah and His Messenger to take away from it, then the origin is that this is from the kingdom of Allah and you cannot do that in the kingdom of Allah, that which does not want from you. So this is an extremely nice benefit to speak to someone regarding. If they did not list the evidences, it's a nice intellectual way to discuss with him. As for getting rid of bad smell, then a teacher before his class should pay concern to himself. Khatib al-Baghdadi rahimahullah, He said, it is befitting for the scholar of hadith, when narrating, that he be in his most complete form, in his best form of beautification, and he should pay concern to himself before that by correcting his affairs, which beautify him, with those present in the gathering from those who are in agreement with him or oppose him. Showing us that he should try to beautify. And the best beautification, wearing a thobe. The best form of beautification a man can do is wearing a thobe. You should not come to class in other than a thobe. You should come to class dressed properly with the image of a student coming to learn the deen. Wearing a thobe is from beautification of a man. And covering yourself in that sense, whether it's a thobe or customary clothes that they wear in Indo-Pak, and that is from beautification of a man. You shouldn't come in tight clothing and other than that. Then he says, example, using siwak is from those affairs. Siwak is from the affairs of cleaning your mouth. مَطْهَرَةٌ لِلْفَمْ وَمَرْضَاتٌ لِلرَّبِّ. It purifies your mouth and Allah loves it. So it's a form of purification and purification of the mouth. And also he says to use fragrance. For it comes in the hadith of Anas ibn Malik that the Prophet ﷺ said, حُبِّبَ إِلَيَّ مِن دُنْيَاكُمْ. That which is made beloved to me from your dunya is woman and fragrance. From your dunya, that which is made beloved to me is dunya, is woman and your fragrance. And the prayer is the pleasure of my eyes. And the salah is qurratu aini. وَجُعِلَتْ قُرَّةُ عَيْنِي فِي الصَّلَاةِ. And the pleasure of my eyes is salah. It also comes to Anas ibn Malik that he said, I never touched silk or velvet softer than the hand of the Prophet ﷺ, and I never smelt musk or perfumed smoke more pleasant than the smell of Allah's Messenger ﷺ. Showing us the Prophet used to smell very good. The Prophet ﷺ used to smell very good. Do not be fooled by those who say they're zuhad, they're people of asceticism, and their hair is all unkempt, and they don't wear shoes, they walk around with no shoes most of the time, their clothes are all ripped, and he smells like he needs to take a shower, and he says, I'm ascetic. The Prophet used to smell good. He used to wear good clothing. He used to take care of himself. He used to trim his mustache. He used to trim his pubic hairs. He used to trim take from his nails. He used to keep himself clean. The best asceticism is the way of the Prophet ﷺ. The best zuhud is the way of the Prophet ﷺ, not what the shaitan has fooled you with. So a person should beautify himself and smell good and purify his mouth, none than that. Thus, he should clean his mouth and sweat, and should stay away before class, should stay away from eating something that which will make his mouth smell bad, his breath smell bad. Now there's a benefit here that I'll mention, that it comes from the Prophet ﷺ, the hadith Anas ibn Malik, that he who has eaten from this plant, meaning garlic, he should not approach us and should not offer salat amongst us. He should not approach us, whoever eats garlic should not approach us and should not offer salat with us. Al-Qurtubi rahimahullah said, this hadith indicates that the one who ate garlic and that which is in its meaning, such as onions or other than that cause bad smell, which will harm people, then it should not come near the gatherings of the people, whether that is prayer or other than that from the sittings of knowledge. Or other than that, from the sittings of knowledge, weddings are similar to it. If your breath smells, then it is not recommended for you to come in this kind of situation. So the sittings of knowledge should be honored. Ibn Rajab rahimahullah, he mentions that it is proof that it is disliked until you get rid of that smell. That it is proof they shouldn't come to these kind of sittings with a bad smell, with your breath smelling bad, until you get rid of that smell. Until you get rid of that smell. Look at how the scholars used to honor this knowledge. Look at how the scholars honor this nowadays. What's even worse is you find someone just smoked, and he comes to the sitting and he's harming those around him. So smoking in babin awla, a person should not smoke and come to these gatherings unless he purifies his mouth. But we don't say to him, don't come to the gathering, because perhaps he may come to a gathering, may be a reason for his guidance. Do not turn the people away from, yes, ubashira wa la tunafira. Give glad tidings to the people, don't turn them away. Perhaps that smoker outside, you tell him, purify your mouth, they come to the sitting. He may come to the sitting and be guided from that sitting. How many scholars in the past are guided from the sittings of the people of knowledge? As for dislike clothing, then it is from the manners of the teacher that he does not wear clothing that is prohibited, such as clothing of ash-shuhra, clothing which opposes the custom of the people, by which you stick out by way of. Let's say you're in an area that doesn't wear certain type of clothing, and you start coming over clothing that completely opposes them, and everyone's looking at you. That's libas ash-shuhra. As for the thobe, then the scholars have clarified, it's not min libas ash-shuhra. So someone shouldn't come now and say, I live in Canada, I shouldn't wear a thobe because libas ash-shuhra. No. The scholar says, not libas ash-shuhra in this case. Imitating the clothing of the woman is not allowed for a man as well. Similarly for the man, it's not allowed to, or the woman is not allowed to imitate the clothing of a man. Or clothing of the kuffar. You shouldn't wear the clothing which in it is imitation of the kuffar. are clothing that has pictures in it. The scholars have clarified you should not even have clothing which has the pictures of those icons or whatever it may be. So small, like, what is it, Abercrombie? Abercrombie, what's that company? Abercrombie with the bird? Abercrombie, whatever it's called. Abercrombie and those kind of things. But they have those birds and the pictures like that. They say the scholars, Shaykh Al-Thaymin, mentioned that even this should be stayed away from, and a student and a teacher and a Muslim in general shouldn't have these kind of clothing. Should stay away from these kind of clothing. Why? Because إن الملائكة لا تدخل بيتا فيه صورة ولا قلب. The malaika do not enter a house in which there is a picture, an image, and a dog. So a person should stay away from that which has pictures in it. Or Majid the kuffar. Sometimes you find even Muslims, sometimes they may be practicing Muslims, they wear ripped clothing. What are you wearing ripped clothing for? You can't afford better clothing. You say, I spent a lot of money on this. Well, go buy a thobe. You may buy 4 or 5 thobes of the money you spent on those ugly pants. And then he says, our clothing that it is tight. You find this as well. Some men, a'udhu billah, you find they want to come to the first but they want tights. Ma yanbaghi. It's not befitting that you bend down in front of men like that. In your salah, you should not wear tights. You should wear clothing that is spread out, wide. You should not be going to salah with clothing that is tight. You go into the court and someone is not seeing something pleasant. It's something that, it may be funny at times, but it's a reality. You find people doing this. And the student, the teacher should be far most away from this. You find some teachers, a'udhu billah, you find some of them when they're outside and not in the time of teaching, you find they're wearing these tight clothing, these tight pants and these stuff. It's not from the way of a student or a teacher to wear tight pants and this stuff. A person should try to cover himself. And from that which is always prohibited is that which falls below the knees. Or below the ankles, that which falls below the ankles. As for the knees, that which goes above the knees is not allowed. A person shouldn't wear shorts and stuff like that go above the knees unless he is covered. Al-fakhidhu awrah. The shin, or the al-fakhid, the thigh is awrah. The thigh is awrah. As for that which goes below the ankles, then the Prophet ﷺ said, مَا أَسْفَلَ مِنَ الْكَعْبَيْنِ فَفِي النَّارِ. That which goes below the ankles is in the hellfire. That which goes below the ankles is in the hellfire. And I want to finish with a story here. Umar radiallahu anh is well known that he died by being stabbed. Umar radiallahu anh is well known that he died by being stabbed. And this shows how firm the Sahaba radiallahu anhum were in advising the people and guiding the people. So when he was stabbed and he was on the bed, a young boy, جاءه شاب, a young boy came to فقال أبشر يا أمير المؤمنين ببشر الله لك من صحبة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وقد في الإسلام. Glad tidings, O leader of the believers. But the glad tidings from Allah for you for accompanying the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم and having precedence in Islam and that which you have put forth in Islam. Then you were given this leadership and you were just and now you've attained shahada. This young boy, shab. Not like the shabab nowadays, they're talking about Fortnite and nonsense and anime. Not shabab nowadays, they're talking about boxing and nonsense. Khabib and this one and that one. These are shabab that knew that the pious were their idols. The pious were the ones they were looking up to. Not people who were time wasters. So he said to him, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, you accompanied the Prophet ﷺ, you have precedence in Islam, and you did that which you put forth, then you became a leader, and then you became just, and you died, and now you're dying a shaheed, because you're stabbed. Well, he said, Omar said, I wish that was it for me. Meaning kafafan. I have nothing for me and nothing against me. La alayya wa la ali. I wish I leave this dunya with nothing for me, nothing against me. He said, فَلَمَّا أَدْبَرُ. When the young boy turned around and to leave, إِذَا إِزَارُ يَمُسُّ الْأَرْضِ. His clothing was dragging on the floor. Umar is stabbed, he's in pain, he's stabbed. He said, رُدُّوا عَلَيَّ الْغُلَامِ. Tell the young boy to turn back. فَقَالْ يَا ابْنَ أَخِي. O the son of my brother, ارفع ثوبك. Raise your thobe. فَإِنُّ أَبْقَى لِثَوْبِكَ. You'll make your clothing remain longer. وَأَتْقَى لِرَبِّكَ. And more pious in the sight of your Lord. Ibn Mas'ud regarding it said, يَرْحَمُ Umar. May Allah mercy upon Umar. لَمْ يَمْنَعْهُ مَا كَانَ فِيهِ مِنْ قَوْلِ الْحَقِّ. It did not prevent him the pain he was in from speaking the truth. It did not prevent him that pain that he was in from speaking the truth at that moment. So we advise everyone here to make sure their pants are above their ankles. Do not be from those who are fooled by the people that tell you, oh, it's only mustahab. It's not obligatory. The Prophet said, مَا أَسْفَلَ مِنَ الْكَعْبَيْنِ فَفِي النَّارِ. If there is al-wa'id, if there's a wa'id, a punishment that the fire will touch you, then that's a kabira. Putting pants below the ankles is not allowed for a Muslim. Young, old, is not allowed. As for the women, some women are fooled nowadays. They say we don't do isbal. They put their pants above the ankles. No, it's only for men. This ruling al-isbal, not putting the pants below the ankles, is only for men. And it's not allowed for a woman to wear clothing where her ankle is showing. The woman must cover herself, and all of her is awrah. So we'll stop with this much, inshallah. Since we delayed a bit, we won't take any question. We'll stop with this. Subhanaka wa bihamdik, la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.